On a chilly November morning in 2021, agents from the IRC Criminal Investigation Unit stormed into a $1 million mansion just outside Atlanta. During the search on the second floor inside the bedroom closet, they found a Cheetos popcorn tin. Inside it was a single board computer. On that device were stored Bitcoin worth $3.4 billion. Jimmy Zhong had stolen all of these Bitcoins almost 10 years ago earlier, and the person he stole them from not only didn't demand them back, but even thanked him, and on top of that threw in extra 5,000 Bitcoins. For several years after that, Jimmy lived in a luxurious life of a millionaire, until he made one small but fatal mistake that cost him not only billions of dollars but also his freedom.
Why'd you steal the money, Jimmy? Did you think you were gonna get away with it? Anything else to say, Jimmy?
Jimmy had always been a total nerd and outcast. In school, nobody was friends with him. Classmates bullied him, beat him up, and called him a beanpole. His parents, who were supposed to be his protection and support, were too busy trying to find jobs and barely made ends meet. Since childhood, Jimmy dreamed of recognition and love. The only safe place he had from the hostile outside world was his room with a computer. By the time he finished high school, he had already taught himself several programming languages. After enrolling in college, Jimmy got hooked on alcohol. Party after party, it was expensive and he had no money. Around that time, on a programmer's forum, Jimmy first learned about Bitcoin. Interestingly, on that forum he chose the nickname MB300SD after the Mercedes 300 SD, the car he had dreamed of his whole life. He thought that once he could afford it, he would instantly become popular with girls, but the Mercedes was as far as the moon. At that time, Bitcoin was worth next to nothing. Making any real money from it seemed impossible. Just to give you an idea, in 2009 you could sell 5,000 Bitcoins for only $5. Jimmy became one of the very first people to mine crypto right on his personal computer. But after a while he gave it up. The future of Bitcoin was way too uncertain back then. Still, he managed to mine a certain amounts, and when a couple of years later the price of Bitcoin started to climb, Jimmy finally had the chance to use his knowledge and cash in. For girls, for alcohol, and even harder substances.
What is drugs?
Week after week he went on drinking bingos, did drugs and partied non-stop. And this very addiction to substances in the most unbelievable way would soon make him a billionaire. But at the time he had no idea. In 2011 the first darknet marketplace in history, Silk Road, was launched. There you could buy drugs and pornography with crypto. It was the first store of its kind. Jimmy started buying products there for his own personal use. The site allowed you to keep Bitcoins right in your account, almost like a deposit. One day, Jimmy decided to withdraw all his Bitcoins from his account and accidentally clicked the withdraw button twice. And incredibly, that led to him withdrawing the maximum possible amount 2 times, meaning he got twice as much as he actually had on deposit. That's how Jimmy stumbled upon a bug in the system that nobody had discovered for an entire year. Jimmy created a new account, deposited 500 Bitcoins to it, and started withdrawing 2,000 at a time. Then he created more and more accounts, repeating the same operation again and again. In the end, he managed to withdraw 50,000 Bitcoins, which at the time were worth only about $620,000. After that, the owner of this site messaged him. And get this, not only did he not demand the Bitcoins back, but he actually thanked Jimmy for finding the bug, asked how he discovered it, and even threw in a bonus of 5,000 Bitcoins as a token of gratitude. From then on, Jimmy spiraled into years of drinking and drug-fueled bingos. He surrounded himself with crowds of so-called friends, who in reality only used him as a walking wallet to pay for their fun.
He would buy me and my friends drinks, and then there were multiple times too where he would buy shots for everyone at the bar.
Also, people call him a cool guy. It was only because of his habit of throwing money around. In truth, his only real friend was his dog Chad. Jimmy bought houses, yachts, expensive cars. His life became an endless loop of parties, booze, cocaine bings and hookers. He was repeatedly caught drunk driving, and once in a bar he bragged to a girl that he had $30,000 worth of cocaine at home. What he didn't didn't know was that at the next table a police officer was listening. Jimmy was charged but not yet sent to prison. One time he even rented a private jet, handed each of his friends $10,000 to spend on whatever they wanted, and flew them all out to watch a game of his favorite baseball team.
Everyone went to the Cartier store first and then just bought a lot of purses, belts, jewelry, coats, stuff like that. It was pretty wild. I mean, that doesn't happen every day.
And all of this could have gone on for years, if not one fateful day. On March 13, 2019, a call came into the local police department in Athens, Georgia. Athens is a mid-sized college town, and usually the police there dealt with a small-time stuff, bar fights, petty theft, nothing major. But this call was different. The Athens police had never received anything like this. On the other end of the line was a young male voice.
Clark County 911.
Hey, I was gone for the past week or so, and someone broke into my house.
And what is your name, sir?
It's Jimmy Zhong, Z-H-O-N-G.
The caller was 28-year-old Jimmy Zhong. Over the phone, he reported that while he was away, someone had broken into his home and stolen 150 bitcoins and $400,000 in cash. I actually feel sorry for Jimmy, because if he had kept his money on the safe crypto exchange Bybit, none of this would have happened. Especially now, since by registering through the link in the description, he could have gotten up to 45% off trading fees, which on his volumes would have meant massive savings. On top of that, he could have earned up to 30,000 in bonuses for trading activity. Don't make the same mistakes Jimmy did. Register through the link in the description, claim your bonuses, and keep your crypto safe on Bybit.
I'm having a panic attack.
Okay. Do you need an ambulance? If you had an approximate amount to say the total value was of the money?
Probably close to $400,000.
By making that call to the police, Jimmy was taking a huge risk. The money that had been stolen from him was just a tiny fraction of what he really had, and that was his darkest secret, something nobody, especially the police, was ever supposed to know. Still, he was desperate to find out who had robbed him, and it was clear he was terrified. Surveillance camera footage captured the break-in, and here we can actually see Jimmy's beloved Mercedes. Here is his house on the map, and there it is, the Mercedes parked right out front. The video shows a skinny young man smashing a window and moving like he already knew the place, what he was looking for, and exactly where to find it. All signs pointed to one of Jimmy's so-called friends being behind the burglary. But the police had another pressing question. Why was Jimmy keeping so much cash in his house? And how could he afford to spend like that with no visible source of income? To the police, he claimed that he had invested in Bitcoin and real estate. And for the moment, they had no reason to doubt him. But everything changed after a phone call from the IRC. On the footage from a police body cam, you can get a clear look at Jimmy.
Hey, Jimmy. How are you? Hey, you remember me?
That man standing next to Jimmy was a blockchain transactions tracing specialist. The IRC had hired him to figure out who had stolen these 50,000 bitcoins. For years they had tried to track down the thief. Only now, digging through transactions from 2011, they finally found leads pointing to Silk Road. And the name that showed up there was, you guessed it, Jimmy. Put it simply, Jimmy had made what seems like a small mistake, but it turned out to be fatal. From his own home, he once sent just $800 transaction to a crypto exchange that followed strict KYC rules, know your customer. That means proving your real name and other personal details. The IRC requested the client data from that exchange, and it was Jimmy. So the police decided to just pay him a visit, bringing along the crypto investigator under the cover story that they wanted to talk about the burglary at his house, but in reality they were there to dig up information on Jimmy himself and his connection to the billion-dollar crime from a decade earlier. We see careful chubby Jimmy casually letting the investigators into his home. It almost felt like Jimmy just wanted some normal human interaction. He gave them a tour of the house while the investigators kept looking for any kind of lead.
I guess kind of a personal question is, how did you acquire the money? I don't even know what you do, Jimmy.
I'm in these days. I'm in real estate development. I'm the fund.
Jimmy showed a suitcase with $1 million.
I was trying to impress this girl back then. So I was like,
Jimmy himself admitted that he had never had sex, except for one time when he paid for it. Downstairs he showed them a room with a stripper pole, a bar and servers. But what the investigators really wanted most was access to his laptop.
I'm gonna need you guys look away because this is gonna be my password.
Okay.
So is this like the equivalent of your hot wallet, where you say you have
Yeah,
1,500?
this
This
is
is your play money.
This is the hot wallet, and then the cold wallet is. I'm not gonna tell you where it is.
For reference, a cold wallet is used for long-term storage of cryptocurrency, and that's where most of Jimmy's stolen bitcoins were kept. A hot wallet, on the other hand, is always connected to the internet and can be used at any time. If you want to learn more about different types of wallets, how to use them and even make money with them, check out the videos linked above. And this is the moment when the investigators finally sees what they came for. A crypto wallet on Jimmy's laptop overflowing with bitcoins worth around $70 million.
Lo and behold, he had 60 or 70 million dollars worth of bitcoins right there next to us.
As they left Jimmy's house, the investigators knew they had just found what they were looking for. That was the turning point, the moment that split Jimmy's life into before and after. But Jimmy himself had no idea yet. And all of this happened simply because he picked up the phone and called the police to report a burglary. If he hadn't done that, he would probably still be living his luxurious lifestyle to that day. Now picture this, you got $3 billion worth of crypto. Would you really call the cops if someone stole just a tiny fraction, a measly 400 grand of it? The next time investigators showed up at Jimmy's house, their task was much tougher. They need full access to his laptop. Once again, they arrived under the pretense of helping him track down the burglar. They stepped inside, and from that moment on, the clock was ticking. In just a few minutes, Jimmy would learn the truth. The investigators weren't there to help. They were there to search his house for evidence tying him to the 3 billion Bitcoin heist. The plan was simple: get Jimmy to unlock his laptop and type in his password, which he did. Then one of the agents asked Jimmy to open the balcony door for him. Jimmy got up from the couch, and at that very moment another investigator slipped a tiny device called a jiggler into the laptop. A little USB stick that keeps the cursor moving, so the computer never goes into sleep. As Jimmy stepped out onto the balcony, the agent revealed the truth. He wasn't just some friendly cop. He was from the IRS-CI Criminal Investigation Unit, and they were here to conduct a search. Right then, a team of officers stormed into Jimmy's house and began combining through every room. Upstairs in a bedroom closet they discovered a popcorn tin. Wrapped inside a towel was a single board computer holding over 3.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. And that wasn't all. Under a lure of concentrate they uncovered a safe. Inside were wallets with crypto addresses, physical bitcoins minted back in the early days of crypto, precious metals, and of course stacks of cash. The investigation later revealed that Jimmy had been using highly sophisticated money laundering techniques, including bitcoin mixers, which made tracing transactions nearly impossible. After more than $3 billion in bitcoin ended up in the hands of US government, by law, all victims of 2012 theft could file claims to get their funds back. But here's the catch: those victims were drug dealers, child pornographers, and other criminals. Naturally, none of them showed up to claim their Bitcoin, so in the end the US federal budget got a nice 3 billion boost. Honestly, I even feel sorry for Jimmy. Back in the early 10s, crypto wasn't regulated at all. The government didn't care about it, didn't even consider Bitcoin a currency. But the moment one Bitcoin became worth as much as a cop's annual salary, boom, the government suddenly cared. For me, it's just disgusting. I can't shake off the feeling of injustice here. Think about it. Jimmy stole money from criminals, and then the government stepped in, robbed Jimmy legally, got richer, and threw him in prison. And who actually suffered from Jimmy's action? Only the heroin dealers and dark web criminals on Silk Road. Jimmy was sentenced to 1 year in prison. The court even denied his request for house arrest so that he could take care of his aging dog Chad. And by the way, remember that original burglary? The very reason Jimmy called the cops in the first place? Well, the pros at American law enforcement never managed to find the burglar. So that's the story. What do you think? Drop the thoughts in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and learn how to make money with crypto while having fun. Don't forget to grab your up to $30,000 in bonuses on Bybit using the link in description. You'll also find my social media there. So, see you in the next video.